The Czech lands have always been an especially beautiful part of the world. A soft spring morning seems to awaken the very soul of every Czech and leaves an indelible imprint on the minds of all who experience it. Is it any wonder then that this beating heart of Central Europe has been the source of such inspired music that has spread far beyond its own dazzling realm? That music lives on today through the vibrant performances of outstanding Czech orchestras such as the world-renowned Suk Chamber Orchestra.
Welcome to number 12, Nelahozovice, the birthplace of the great Czech composer Antonín Dvořák. You're now entering the house where Antonín Dvořák was born on September 8, 1841. The composer came from humble origins. His great-grandfather Jan Dvořák lived between 1724 and 1777 and died at his place of birth in Třebíčce on the outskirts of Prague. Dvořák's grandfather, also called Jan, was born in the same place in 1764. He was a butcher's journeyman, that is qualified but undistinguished, who married Anna Bobkova. Their son, František Dvořák, the composer's father, was born in 1814 at Tchivnov. Jan and Anna moved to Nelahozovice in 1818 and rented a butcher's shop here at number 24. It's a building which no longer exists. Only a few years before they died, František returned here in 1840, also as a journeyman, and on November 17 of that year he married Anna Sedenkova, and in 1841 they rented an inn at this house. Antonín was to be the first of their 9 children, and probably first heard music in his father's pub. It's said his father played second violin in an occasional ensemble here. As we gaze around this drawing room area, you'll immediately notice Dvořák's rocking chair. It's not too hard to imagine the great maestro gently rocking back and forth and musing on the origins of his birthplace. He would certainly have known its history, that Nelahozovice had come into being as the family village of the miller Nelahoda sometime around the 10th century. In 1553, Florian Griesbeck from Innsbruck took over the manor on the hill in Nelahozovice and began building a Renaissance fortress-like chateau, which was completed by his son. His widow sold the manor and the chateau to Polizena Lobkowicz in 1623, and Lobkowicz Castle still overlooks the village today. But at the time of Antonín Dvořák's birth, the village had 46 registered house numbers and a total population of only 438 citizens. His father's inn was located on the ground floor of this house. The second room of the house is the room where Antonín Dvořák was born. Looking at the bronze bust of Antonín Dvořák, try to imagine a small, wide-eyed boy looking out from this house. High on the hill was the richly decorated Lobkowicz Castle. Across the street, the small church of St. Andrew. Behind that, the steam locomotives puffing their way between the great cities of Prague and Dresden. Beyond the railway line, the Vltava River with its busy cargo vessels. There was a whole new world out there. It's time now to inspect the third room, the column room, dedicated to Dvořák's youth and his creative endeavours. St. Andrew's Church, dating from the 14th century, and where as a young boy Dvořák sang in the church choir and played the violin as a soloist. From 1855 the composer's father operated the butcher shop and innkeeping trades at Slunitsa, to the northwest of Nelahozovice. He expected his son to also become a butcher, and Antonín probably had already begun his apprenticeship there in 1854. However, Antonín performed in the popular Lehman Band and also learned chamber music while in Slunitsa. Antonín Lehman, an excellent teacher, organist and composer, taught Dvořák to play violin, viola, piano and organ, as well as instructing him in musical theory. So it was really in Slonitzer, after facing tormenting uncertainty, Dvořák's fate was decided. He would dedicate himself to music. In Prague from 1857, Antonín Dvořák began studying, among other subjects, musical theory and organ at the Institute for Church Music, the Prague Organ School. He joined the band that became the nucleus of the new Provisional Theatre Orchestra, conducted from 1866 by Smetana. Private teaching and mainly composing occupied him from 1873. He won the Austrian State Stipendium 3 times, gaining the attention of Brahms, who secured the publisher Simrock for some of his works in 1878. Foreign performances multiplied. Particularly well received in England, Dvořák wrote The Spectre's Bride, 1884, and the Requiem Mass, 1890, for Birmingham, the Seventh Symphony for the Philharmonic Society, 1885, and St. Ludmilla for Leeds in 1886, besides receiving an honorary doctorate from Cambridge. He visited Russia in 1890, continued to launch new works in Prague and London, and began teaching at the Prague Conservatory in 1891, where Josef Suk was among his most gifted pupils. Before leaving for the US, he toured Bohemia playing the new Dumki Trio. As director of the National Conservatory in New York between 1892 and 1895, he taught composition, meanwhile producing the well-known Ninth Symphony from the New World, and the String Quartet in F, the String Quintet in E-flat, and the Cello Concerto. Financial strain and family ties took him back to Prague, where he began to write symphonic poems, and finally had his efforts at dramatic music rewarded with the success of the fairy tale opera Rusalka of 1901. The recipient of honours and awards from all sides, he remained a modest man of simple tastes, loyal to his Czech nationality. In matters of style, Dvořák was neither conservative nor radical. His works display the influences of folk music, mainly Czech, but also ones that might equally be seen as American. Classical composers whom he admired included Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven and Schubert, Wagner, whose harmony attracted him, and of course his close friend Brahms, notably for his piano writing and mastery of symphonic form. Antonín Dvořák died in Prague on the 1st of May, 1904.
I was aware that there was a Czech tradition of string playing which was handed down generation after generation and is still handed to the conservatory students today. They are all part of that tradition. They have not adopted a new style of playing. And the members of the Suk Orchestra all were trained this way, and that is why they sound so wonderful.
It's like a part of our souls, that we bring to the music, because the Czech musicians are famous especially for this process. That the playing techniques are the same as in the whole world, but we just bring some bigger soul to this music, and our style of living also, because the Czech people are different to the Americans, to the German people. We are a special nation. We like humor, and we have a big Slovenian souls, and we like beer also. It's inside sometimes, especially in this concerto. It's a matter of drive, and you have to have this drive inside. It goes from inside to you.
So what is the difference? Well, it is without question influenced by folk elements. And this is very clearly perceived in all of Dvořák's music. There is no music of his, even the most polished of his symphonies in the Western style, whatever they might be, there's nowhere not a trace of, there's always a trace of his folk heritage. I think that he embodies perfectly this use of nationalist elements with the Western tradition. He does it so beautifully in every single piece. You can hear it. I mean, it's there. It isn't blatant. It isn't like he says, oh, here's a Czech rhythm and you're going to hear it. He somehow integrates it into this general European style, which is a fantastic achievement.